So the first step is that we don't know that we lost that connection. Some of you may have shown up today and been just like, my life isn't that great and things aren't working out, but you just don't know why. The reason is that you lost your connection to the universe, is that you're resisting the connection. And the belief systems and the stories and the doubt and the uncertainty and the judgment and the false beliefs are all the things that you've built up against that presence of joy and that presence of the universe. And so you may have shown up here being like, I want some answers, but you haven't realized how you've disconnected. Does that make sense? Does that resonate with people? Yes, so I'm going to show you today. We're going to understand. And being on a spiritual path means understanding the ego. It means understanding the voice of fear and not aligning with it, but knowing it intimately and knowing what it does and knowing its tricks and knowing the ways that it gets in the way and knowing how it's holding you back and knowing how it makes you feel and becoming very conscious of the triggers and the wounds and the stories that you have on repeat and repeat and repeat. So, we don't know that we lost it. And part of it is that we actually don't really want to let it go. Does that make sense? That there's a part of us that doesn't want to let it go. There's a part of us that says, well, if I let that go, who will I be? If I lay down my knives, right? That's the metaphor I use for myself. When I get triggered, knives out, right? So watch out. No, I'm just kidding. I'm working on it. So I really am. I'm not even joking. So in my own practice, in my own therapy, in my emotional freedom technique, and in my spiritual practice, it's all about putting the knives down. But I wouldn't be able to put those knives down if I didn't know the knives were there, right? So what kind of weapons do you have in your back pocket? What are you whipping out when you get triggered? And what are those triggers? And what are those wounds? And being willing to look at them. But the first part is that we don't know that they're there. And the second piece of this is that we don't necessarily want to give it up because it's the great protector. It's how we stay safe. It's how we hold ourselves in a place of feeling like we can be contained. So knowing that we don't want to let it go, we might not even know it's there. And most of us, just as I said, are not even aware of it. So when we become aware of how we're out of alignment, we can know that we're in a place of being out of alignment with the universe and in a space of resistance simply when we don't feel good. That's it. So how often do you, I'm going to say how often throughout the day, because it's every day that there's moments where we don't feel good. Every one of us. Me. How often do you feel, not ask, you don't have to answer me, but just take an honest inventory for yourself. How often am I not feeling good? All the time? 60% of the time? 70% of the time? How am I not feeling good? Because when we don't feel good, we aren't aligned with God. We're not aligned with the universe. So what is the experience that we're having where we don't feel good? And recognizing that when we don't feel good, we're out of alignment with the universe. Being very loving and kind to yourself when you look at this. So I want you throughout the day, in this first step, is just to continue to ask yourself a very important question. Do I feel good right now? Do I feel good right now? Do I feel good right now? Just asking yourself all day long. And just remembering that it's good to feel good. A lot of us, I think, get on this path where we have a belief system that feeling good is wrong, or that feeling good is only when we accomplish something, or we get that love that we think we need. But that what would, you know, if we're, and how many of you had the experience where you start feeling good and things start working out and you're like, nah, that's too scary. That doesn't feel right. Let's move that away, right? So feeling good is good. And just starting to ask yourself throughout the day to really honor this first block and resistance, asking yourself throughout the day, do I feel good?